Hi Aaron, thanks for watching. Today I'm going to be doing a review, as I sort of promised, on my metal detector that I've got. I suppose I should do it in comparison with another metal detector, but I haven't got one yet, so maybe I'll do that when it comes along. All I can do is give the review based upon my experiences of this one. Now this one comes from an electrical retailer here in the UK called Maplin. It's just called an N86KA. It's got no other name on it. That's all it's called. There's some good points, definitely, but there's also some not so good points. So I'm going to start really with the sort of top and work my way down and see how we go. What I would say is the holding position here, using it all day, there's no real grip around the top of the arm, so the arm can get tired after a few hours. I found that I had to swap hands, and that was a kind of fault. I found that when I rested the metal detector down as well, there was no cradle at the back to keep the unit off the ground, so where I was working on wet and muddy water or actually in a stream, the unit itself, which I'll come on to in a minute, was right on or in the water, or could have been. The other thing is, if you notice in there, the headphone socket, again, is when the unit's put down, is right next to the ground. Again, if it's wet grass or in water, it's no good at all. The actual unit itself, the design, it really looks something out of the 1970s sci-fi, a pretty poor sci-fi. It's aesthetically not very pleasing at all. You know, it says made in China on there, you can certainly tell that it is. The buttons that it's got on it says it's discriminating. If you see my other video, new to metal detecting problems and equipment review, you'll know that I spoke about these settings. Most of them don't really work. If I put them onto a mode where it says discriminate, all metal or tone, very honest, it doesn't pick anything up in one of the other ones. So it has to be all metal, and then I just get hits on iron and everything all day. The other thing that you'll notice with this is the indicator on there. Again, in my experience, and I've used this about half a dozen times at least now, that either says 0 or 10. It just doesn't seem to go into anything in between. Maybe that's because I've never used it on discriminate, I don't know, but I've tried it in, with things on the floor with discriminate, and it doesn't really work. Moving down, this cable, I found that if it moves, it makes the thing squeal and can be horrible. I don't know, there's a short circuit in there somewhere, but there's a fault. I've also read on the Maplin's website that someone had the same thing. They sent it back 4 times. There's a good adjustable unit here to adjust it to height, but I would have thought that would be standard on most metal detectors. And again, an adjustment for the angle of the head. The coil, I have to say, does work underwater. I didn't have it particularly deep, maybe sort of 6 or 8 inches, but it still picked things up. So that was definitely a plus as far as that's concerned. On their website, they mention, like I say, that it's got a 4 operations mode. It only works on 1. Waterproof coil, it certainly does. Do you know, to its credit, I have to say that I have found some things quite deep on that. I would say certainly, up to 10 inches I found items in the ground on this. I don't know whether it would pick up a small ring or something, or a small coin, but certainly iron objects I have done. The pinpointer that is on the handle there, the red button you can see here, that's quite a useful thing. It did work, actually, I have to say. That did help to pinpoint, so again, that's a plus on it. The recommended retail price, or the price on the Maplin's website, is £109.99. I would say if you're going to look at spending that kind of money, I would definitely go with a Garrett. Not because I own one, but I am planning to get one. But all the reviews that I've heard, I've had with them, are very good. Maybe it doesn't go as deep as this one, I don't know, but certainly it will discriminate, and that's got to be a big plus. But I would say overall, For a starter's metal detector, I didn't pay 109. I paid £60 or £65, I think it was, in the sale. I would say that if I was going to buy that at £60, I would probably give it marks out of 10 at probably, 7.5. It's definitely worth cutting your teeth on and using something like this to make sure that you're going to enjoy metal detecting and then upgrading to something. But if you're definitely going to go metal detecting lots, I would probably start off with a Garrett 125. I think they're about £119, £120, and they will discriminate. They'll bring the metal detector off the ground, and they're just an all-round really good company, and I hear them all the time, their praises being sung. If this was a metal detector that I would say at a full price at £109.99, then I would say probably sunk at about 3 out of 10, because it doesn't come anywhere near other metal detectors that I've heard of. So that's the end of my review. I hope that it was useful with this metal detector here and other ones of its type. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and leave comments.